Okay, State, are you prepared to call your next witness?
Yes, the state calls Detective John Guillott.
Do you solemnly swear that the testimony you give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
If you could please be seated, state and spell your name for the record.
Detective John, John, Guillott, Guillot.
You testified earlier that you're a detective with the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Were you working in that capacity on April 4th, 2024?
Correct, yes.
What were your duties that day?
That specific day did a bunch of follow-up. On that day, I was assigned, along with Joseph Blanchard, to go conduct follow-up initially at the pizza shuttle. From there, while we're en route to the pizza shuttle, which again, Miss Robinson was employed there, we drove past Victor's, which is a bar on the Lower East Side of Milwaukee. It's kind of like a bar / nightclub. As we're driving by Victor's, I noticed that there was a black Hyundai Sonata parked in the parking lots. Of note, I knew two things. I knew that law enforcement obtained information that Mr. Anderson was a bartender at Victor's, and I also knew that Mr. Anderson was a registered owner of a black Hyundai Sonata.
Just to ask, a Sonata is a sedan, correct?
I believe it's an SUV.
Okay, is a Santa Fe an
Sorry,
SUV?
pardon me, yes, yeah, that's correct.
Okay, so at that time you were doing follow-up specific to this case, specific to Sade Robinson, correct?
That is correct, yes.
And you went into April 4th knowing that Maxwell Anderson drove a Hyundai Santa Fe, correct?
Correct, yes.
You were also aware that he worked at Victor's.
Correct, yes.
Do you know the address of Victor's?
Yes, it's, I believe, 1230 North Van Buren Street. Again, that's located on the east side of Milwaukee.
And through this investigation that you were part of, were you aware that Maxwell Anderson was the last person to have contact with Sade Robinson before her death?
That is correct, yes.
Describe what you did as you saw that vehicle, that Santa Fe.
So as we saw the black Santa Fe, we kind of circled around the block. We drove past the Santa Fe for a second time, and I noticed that the Santa Fe had a Wisconsin license plate of AMR 8083 affixed to the back of the vehicle. I knew, based upon our investigation, that specific vehicle was the registered vehicle of Mr. Anderson. So I was able to confirm that vehicle was Mr. Anderson's.
Approximately what time did you see the vehicle?
It's approximately 12:30 to 12:45 p.m.
And at this point, how are you traveling?
We are at this point in an unmarked squad car. We are going northbound on, I believe, Van Buren. Once we see the vehicle and once we confirm the vehicle, I also noticed that the vehicle is unoccupied. We essentially set up surveillance across the streets on Mr. Anderson's vehicle.
What did you see?
Myself, like I said, we were on surveillance for approximately 10-15 minutes. At first, we didn't see any movements. After about 15 minutes elapsed, I saw Mr. Anderson walking eastbound on East Juneau Avenue towards his vehicle. Mr. Anderson was wearing a black colored jacket. He had some kind of knit cap on, and he was carrying a backpack.
When you're referring to Mr. Anderson, are you referring to somebody in the courtroom today?
I am, yes.
Can you describe where that person's sitting and what they're wearing?
I'll stipulate.
The record will so reflect.
Thank you. Upon seeing Mr. Anderson, what did he do?
Like I said, Mr. Anderson, he crossed over the intersection of East Juneau Avenue and Van Buren. He walked to his vehicle, entered into his vehicle, and he sat in his vehicle for approximately 10 to 15 minutes.
Did you indicate whether or not he was carrying anything?
Yes, he's carrying a backpack over his shoulders.
Okay, can you describe what that backpack looked like?
I believe it was a standard black and color backpack.
Are you aware of surveillance footage that the Milwaukee Police Department obtained through this investigation?
Yes,
Are you aware of a camouflage color backpack that was depicted on certain surveillance footage?
yes.
Okay. Was this that backpack?
I don't believe so, no.
After the defendant gets into his car, what do you do?
Like I stated before, he sat in the vehicle for approximately 10 minutes, and then eventually he reversed his vehicle. The defendant, Mr. Anderson, again, was the lone occupant driver of the vehicle. He started heading in a southern direction through the east side of Milwaukee / downtown area. At that point, Detective Blanchard and I continued to follow Mr. Anderson in our unmarked squad car. Once we got to the area of West Clybourne Street, Mr. Anderson entered the I-94 and began traveling westbound on I-94. As he's continuing to travel westbound on I-94, several other detectives assist. They're also driving unmarked squad cars. We continue to follow Mr. Anderson to the 27th Street off-ramp, at which point he takes the off-ramp and begin driving southbound on 27th Street from I-94.
Where does South 27th Street go at that point?
We continue following Mr. Anderson all the way down to, I believe, Holt Avenue. Mr. Anderson started driving westbound on Holt Avenue to which point he gets to Lakefield Drive, and he's continuing to drive westbound on Lakefield Drive, at which point I know that Mr. Anderson's registered address is essentially just around the corner. So at that particular time, I also should note that I knew our detectives had secured a signed search warrant for Mr. Anderson's residence. So I believed also that Mr. Anderson was heading home at that time.
You are aware his residence was at what address?
I believe it is 3161 South 39th Street.
And you were aware that other members of the Sheriff's Department were presently at that residence or going to be very shortly at that residence to execute a search warrant?
That is correct. That was also a part of my thinking during my arrest operation. We had other sheriff's detectives at the residence. We had detectives following Mr. Anderson. And my whole goal at that point was not to let Mr. Anderson get back to his residence.
Did you effectuate a traffic stop?
I did, yes.
You personally did in your squad car?
It was in Detective Blanchard's unmarked squad car. We activated our unmarked squad car's emergency lights and in the area of North 38th Street and West Lakefield Drive.
How far away from the residence of 3161 South 39th Street is that?
I would estimate a block and a half.
What happened?
Mr. Anderson stopped. We, as in me and Detective Blanchard, exited our unmarked squad car. We approached on the driver's side while Deputy Ethan Stout approached on the passenger side. We made contact with Mr. Anderson. I asked Mr. Anderson to shut off his vehicle, to which he complied. I then asked Mr. Anderson to step out of the vehicle, to which again he complied. I immediately grabbed onto Mr. Anderson and I took him into custody by placing him in the handcuffs.
I think that's a perfect place to stop.
But the truth, so help you God?
I do.
If you could please be seated, restate and respell your name for the record.
Detective John, John, Guillott, Guillot.
Prior to lunch, you testified that you arrested Maxwell Anderson, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay. And you identified Maxwell Anderson as being present in the courtroom today, right?
Correct, yes.
I'm going to show you what's been previously received as Exhibit 204. Can you see that up on the screen?
I can, yes.
Okay. The person that's depicted in Exhibit 204, is that the same person that you arrested?
That is the same person that I arrested on April 4th, 2024, yes.
And that is Maxwell Anderson?
That is Maxwell Anderson.
You testified that when he was arrested, or sorry, when you conducted surveillance on the defendant, you saw him with a backpack, correct?
Correct, yes.
Was that backpack ultimately recovered?
It was, yes.
And the backpack that can be seen in Exhibit 204, is that the same backpack as was recovered?
No, it does not appear so. If you take a look at the actual still shot, it appears to be like a tan camo backpack. The backpack recovered in Mr. Anderson's vehicle was a black backpack.
So let's go back to the traffic stop. You had interaction with him, correct?
I did, yes.
Okay, and when did that begin?
So when we got to the area of South 38th Street and West Lakefield Drive, like I stated before, we activated our emergency lights. We exited out of our vehicle and we approached Mr. Anderson's vehicle. My partner, Detective Blanchard, informed Mr. Anderson for the reason of the traffic stop, to which I then asked Mr. Anderson, where are you heading to? Mr. Anderson responded by saying he was going to the Greenfield Greenfield DMV.
Are you aware of where the Greenfield DMV is located?
Yes, I believe it's 5500 Grange Avenue in Greenfield.
And at this point, you testified you were about a block or a block and a half away from the defendant's house, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Was he traveling in the direction of the Greenfield DMV?
No, I believe that Mr. Anderson was heading to his house.
Can you describe how the defendant appeared during your contact with him while he was still in the car?
Yeah, Mr. Anderson was seated in the driver's seat, physically shaking as he was talking to Detective Blanchard and I, to which point, again, we then asked Mr. Anderson to shut off his vehicle. He does. We asked Mr. Anderson to exit the vehicle. He does.
You testified that you told him what the reason for the traffic stop was, correct?
That's correct, yes.
What did you inform him?
So we kind of did a ruse. We informed him that it was for expired registration, which was a valid traffic stop.
You didn't come out and say you're wanted for the homicide of Sade Robinson.
That's correct, no.
So at the point where he's talking about going to the DMV and physically shaking, he wasn't aware of why you were actually investigating him, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Describe how he was taken into custody.
He was asked to step out of the vehicle. He stepped out of the vehicle. He placed both his hands on top of the roof rack of his SUV. He placed, I believe, his wallet and a cell phone on top of the roof rack, at which point we brought down his hands. We placed his hands behind his back and then secured him in handcuffs.
The wallet and the cell phone, were those items recovered?
They were, yes.
Who recovered those?
Deputy Ethan Stout.
Do you recall what kind of cell phone?
Yes, it was a black, at least black in color Samsung.
Did Deputy Stout then provide you with those items for you to place on inventory?
That's correct, yes.
Was the vehicle searched at that point?
At that specific point, I don't believe it was, no.
What happened to the vehicle?
A tow company called Ray's Towing responded to the scene, and they took possession of the vehicle, at which point another detective followed Ray's back to our substation, which is located in Wauwatosa. It's a secure substation, and the vehicle was placed in the substation, and investigators later obtained a search warrant for that vehicle.
Where was the defendant then taken?
Mr. Anderson was escorted to a Milwaukee County Sheriff's Office deputy squad car, at which point he was then conveyed to our detective bureau for further processing.
Are you aware of certain demographic information about the defendant?
Yes,
Do you know his date of birth and
I
his
do.
age at the time of the arrest?
Yeah, Mr. Anderson's date of birth, I believe, is November 26, 1990, and his date of birth, his age at the arrest was 33 years old.
Are you aware of his height?
Yes,
What was that?
I believe approximately 6'1".
And are you aware of what his weight at the time of arrest was?
Yes, at the time of the arrest, I believe it was around 180 pounds.
What did you do with the phone and wallet?
For the phone, I placed it into a secure evidence locker, which is located at our detective bureau, which is 821 West State Street. And then the wallet, I'm not completely sure. He might have, the wallet might have went with him with his property.
You placed the phone on a specific inventory number, correct?
Correct.
Does 24001539 item 1 sound familiar?
Yes, it does.
And nothing further.
Cross?
Good afternoon, Detective.
Afternoon.
So I just want to rewind back. And you said that you saw Max's car parked in the Victor's parking lot, correct?
Correct.
And you had said that you were on your way to Pizza Shuttle, but you kind of just drove past Victor's, right?
Yeah, we were en route to Pizza Shuttle to conduct further follow-up. When we were en route to Pizza Shuttle, we just drove by Victor's.
Okay. And you could see his vehicle parked in the lot, right?
I could see a black SUV parked in the parking lot, yes.
And so it wasn't like hidden behind like the alleyway behind Victor's, right?
That's correct. It was just in the parking lot.
And his car was there because you knew he had worked there, correct?
I'm not sure why his car was there.
But at the time when you drove by, one of the reasons you drove by is because you were aware that Maxwell Anderson worked at Victor's, correct?
No, it was just more of a coincidence that we drove by.
Okay. And then after you had seen that vehicle, that's when you called other squads or other detectives to kind of set up surveillance, right?
Yeah, after I confirmed the vehicle's license plate and can confirm that license plate listed back to Mr. Anderson, that's when I requested additional detectives to come.
And so you could see the license plate. The license plate hadn't been removed, correct?
That's correct.
Or covered up?
Correct.
And you knew the color of the vehicle when you'd first seen it, right?
That's correct.
And that the color of it was the same color that it was registered with DMV, right?
Correct.
And then I think you said about 15 minutes afterwards, you actually see Max, right?
Correct.
And he's walking just towards his car.
Yep, he's walking eastbound on Juneau Avenue towards his vehicle.
And this area of Milwaukee, this is right by the Metro Market, correct?
That is correct, yes.
Oh, and then if you can travel down Juneau, you hit like Fiserv Forum, correct?
I believe so, yes.
And you said he was just walking, correct? He wasn't running?
Correct, just walking.
He wasn't like looking over his shoulder or making any furtive movements, correct?
Correct.
And he wasn't wearing a mask, correct?
Correct.
Or wasn't trying to disguise himself in any way?
Correct.
And then he gets into his car. You said he sits in there on his phone for maybe 10 minutes and then he drives.
That's correct, yes.
I should clarify. He drives away from Victor's, correct?
Correct.
In the direction of his home.
Correct.
And when you see him walking, from Juneau, you said he's wearing a backpack.
Correct.
And you were aware that he was seen carrying a backpack while on that city bus, the exhibit that's up on the screen right now.
Correct.
And you'd seen that before all of this happening with you, surveilling him outside Victor's, right?
Could you ask that one more time? I'm sorry.
Had you seen this photo before you'd seen his vehicle at Victor's?
I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. And you said the backpack that, well, now you know, the backpack that he's wearing while he's walking his vehicle at Victor's is different than that backpack, correct?
Correct.
And you had testified that you don't believe this backpack was recovered, the one on the screen.
I'm not sure if that backpack was ever recovered. I just testified the backpack in his vehicle, which was black in color, was recovered.
Oh, okay. And were you involved in any of the searches of Mr. Anderson's vehicle or his house?
I briefly assisted with the search at his residence. I was not part of any search with his vehicle.
Okay. But are you aware that there was 2 different searches conducted at Mr. Anderson's home?
I am aware of that, yes.
And the reason why the police can do sometimes secondary or second searches is because sometimes evidence can be missed.
Correct.
And that's why they did the secondary search, correct?
I'm not sure why they did the secondary search. It wasn't out of my scope.
Okay. But we do know you've seen, at least on 2 different occasions, Mr. Anderson wearing a backpack, right?
Correct.
And sometimes people carry backpacks, to carry belongings inside of them, right?
Fair.
I mean, if you ride the city buses, if you walk, driving around the city of Milwaukee, you constantly see people with backpacks, right?
I don't know about constantly, but you see a fair share.
Okay. And then after he gets in his car, you said he waits about 10 minutes, and then he drives in the direction of his house, correct?
Correct.
And then you followed behind him?
Correct.
And you were in an unmarked squad car, right?
Correct.
So what does that look like? It doesn't say police on it, does it?
Correct. It's just a typical Ford Fusion. I believe it had a little tint on it. Has interior lights, but no police markings on it.
And so if you were a standard person and you see this vehicle, you wouldn't particularly know it was a police vehicle, correct?
That's fair to say.
I mean, that's kind of the point of an unmarked squad car, right? So people don't know.
Correct. To avoid detection and such.
And you said you activated your lights, correct?
Correct.
So this vehicle does have lights on it, but they're just not easily discernible, right?
Yeah. There's interior lights, and then there's like some hidden lights in the grill portion of the vehicle.
Okay. And as you said, you activate lights, Mr. Anderson pulls over, right?
Correct.
He doesn't try to flee, correct?
That is correct.
And you sometimes, I'm sure you've been involved in investigations with fleeings, correct?
Correct.
I mean, oftentimes the police pull someone over. If they have something, like drugs in their car, they flee at a high speed away from the police, right?
That happens, yes.
But that didn't happen in this case, correct?
Correct.
And once you made contact with him, he was answering your questions, correct?
Correct.
And he didn't try to run away on foot, correct?
Correct.
He didn't resist arrest, right?
Correct.
He wasn't argumentative.
Correct.
I think you described him, he was cooperative, right?
Cooperative, he complied, yes.
And he wasn't armed.
He was not armed.
And you said that he was visibly shaking, right?
Correct.
And you've seen that in times you've conducted traffic stops, right?
I have, yes.
I mean, because, not everyone's super comfortable with the police, right?
Fair.
And especially if you don't know you're getting pulled over by a police officer, sometimes you can be a little anxious or a little nervous, right?
That's fair.
And you'd said that the reason you told them that you were pulling him over was something about a license plate, or what was it?
His registration being expired, which it actually was.
Okay. And then he had said that he was going to the Greenfield DMV, correct?
That is the response that he gave us, yes.
Okay. And so he gave that response after you told him that's why you'd pulled him over.
Correct.
Nothing further.
State? Were there other officers with you at the time of the traffic stop, meaning other squad cars?
Yes.
And were those marked or unmarked?
There was mostly unmarked. I believe that there might have been one marked car, but most of the cars with us were all unmarked.
And when your unmarked squad's lights are activated, is it clear that it's a squad car?
Yeah, it's clear, and it's 360 lighting all around.
And there's a siren too?
There is a siren.
Nothing further.
Defense?
Yes, just briefly, Judge. So, Detective, you said that there was multiple squads that kind of had almost surrounded the car after it had been pulled over?
I wouldn't use the word surround. I would say there was multiple unmarked squad cars in the area. Like I testified before, there was a couple unmarked squad cars at Mr. Anderson's residence. There's a couple unmarked squad cars down the block from the traffic stop. And I believe there might have been another unmarked squad car behind our actual unmarked squad car during the traffic stop itself.
Okay, so it's your unmarked squad and also another unmarked squad behind yours, correct?
That's fair to say, yes.
And so multiple officers, correct?
I think in total there was 3, including me.
Okay. And then are you armed when you're on duty?
Yes.
And you were armed at the time that you were making contact with Mr. Anderson, correct?
Yes.
I have nothing further.
State,
Nothing further.
thank you, Detective.
Thanks.